Chapter 61, The Beauty Doudou, the Immortal Zhong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I've met Mr. Jiang Li. Yan Qixia was carrying a sword case on her back and had a thick beard on her face. This Yan Qixia is quite wild. The Yan Qixia in front of her has a bold and unrestrained temperament. She doesn't look like a Taoist priest, but more like a sage. Lao Zhong and I are here to gain knowledge and gain knowledge. The main force is Mr. Jiang Li. If there is anything that needs to be done, just tell us to do it. Longbow also came up and gave Jiang Li a big gift again, thanking him for his help. With Jiang Li taking action, the Tong family's problems will no longer be a problem. Please call me Tongbo later. Huang Rong, Yao Yue and the others were surprised as to why Longbow suddenly changed his name to Tongbo, but they didn't ask any more questions. Brother Jiang, what should we do next? The ice burst by Shui Rui is so terrifying. Even if I use my strength to resist, I still feel a chill. Huang Rong's face turned a little pale. The temperature in the frozen Shuiyue cave is extremely low, not to mention Huang Rong and others who were only in the foundation establishment stage. Even Longbow, who was in the golden core stage, was shivering from the cold. Jiang Li's strength surged out to help Huang Rong and invited Yu Ernu to dispel the cold. As for Zhang Sanfeng, Yan Qixia and Longbow, Jiang Li had nothing to do with them. The grown man can't even resist the cold. The first method is for me to use my extreme strength to directly melt the ice. However, this method is too expensive, so we should go to Yujin Villa. When Jiang Li entered here, he immediately studied the ice with his mind. He can melt the ice and save the Tong family. However, in this case, the amount of mana he consumes will be huge, and he cannot replenish it without hundreds of spiritual stones. The reward is only 10,000 points, but it costs hundreds of spirit stones to recover. How could Jiang Li do such a loss-making business? Moreover, this method may directly destroy the shattered Shui Rui. A few of my companions escaped the ice. Let's go find them first. Under the leadership of Longbow, they quickly met the three hermit cultivators. Tongbo, who are they? Seeing Jiang Li and the others, Inshio suddenly became nervous. After all, Shuiyue Cave, which was isolated from the world, had this group of outsiders appear after it was frozen. How could he not be nervous? Hermit, they are my friends and they are also a group of masters. After hearing about the Tong clan, they are here to help. You and Tong Zhan must not neglect them. Hearing this, Inshio and Tong Zhan nodded hurriedly. Ahem. Huang Rong suddenly coughed a few times, because she noticed that the woman named Doudou lowered her head with twinkling eyes, and peeked at Jiang Li from time to time. Obviously, he also likes boss Jiang Li. Hey, here's another competitor. Brother Jiang, the sky and the earth are frozen, how can we get out of here? Yao Yu also noticed something unusual and stood up as if to declare her sovereignty. Sure enough, when she saw the woman named Doudou, her face suddenly became unnatural. Come with me. Jiang Li came back to his senses and shook his head secretly. Women are trouble. However, this Doudou was indeed as beautiful as he thought. No wonder Huang Rong and Yao Yu were nervous. However, although Jiang Li is not a single-minded person, he is not someone who can't walk away when he sees a beautiful woman. Otherwise, he would have accepted Huang Rong and Yao Yu long ago. Brush. The power of a domain expanded and instantly swept up a group of people straight into the sky. The sky above Shuiyue Cave is shrouded by the five elements barrier. Most people don't understand, so they can't live without it, but to Jiang Li, this was completely a minor problem. After shattering the layer of ice, he punched out, and the five elements barrier automatically opened a hole. After a few people left Shuiyue Cave, he restored the hole again. Who are you, and why do you know how to open and close the five elements barrier of my Tong clan? Inshio looked at Jiang Li with some surprise. Even he didn't know how to open the five elements realm. In the entire Tong clan, only the clan leader and the 6 elders have the method to open the five elements barrier. Longbow's expression changed. Although he did not upload the method of opening and closing the five elements barrier of the Tong clan, he did upload the method of constructing the five elements barrier. Could it be that Jiang Li deduced this after purchasing it? This five elements formation can only be regarded as average, and it is not an innate five elements formation. Jiang Li said calmly, to him, a barrier of this level is just like a decoration. He can tell how to open it with just 2 glances. Hang Nyo. After a few words, In Xiu had no temper at all. To be able to fly with so many people, the means are probably earth-shattering, and apart from the one who made the fuss, no one else reacted at all. After flying for a while, completely beyond the scope of the Tong clan's 5 elements barrier, Jiang Li led everyone to the ground. After all, he didn't know where Yujin Villa was. If I remember correctly, the people sent by Yin Zhong have already found the area. Capture an iron guard of Yujin Villa and find out the location of Yujin Villa. Thank you for sending me out. I'm leaving first. Doudou, who had something in his heart, wanted to leave as soon as he landed, but at this time, how could Jiang Li let her go? To find Shui Rui's heart in Yin Tianzhou, we have to rely on Doudou. You can't leave. The Tong clan is frozen because of you. You can't leave until the matter is resolved. Jiang Li let go of his mind and swept across an area of hundreds of kilometers, and soon saw some iron guards looking in this direction. After grabbing a sign pointing in the direction of Yujin Villa, Jiang Li took a group of people and flew up again. Boss Jiang Li, your cultivation is really terrifying. You can fly with so many people. Zhang Sanfeng and Yan Qixia had long been shocked by Jiang Li's methods. They are close to the golden elixir, and they can fly with their own swords. If they bring others with them, the consumption will be unimaginable and terrifying, not to mention bringing so many people. Half an hour later, Jiang Li had led a group of people to the city where Yujin Villa was located. Under Doudou's guidance, the group quickly arrived at Yujin Villa. Please also inform Mr. Yin that the Tong family is coming to visit. In this world, Yujin Villa's status in the world is like that of a martial arts leader. The guard guarding the door was still very polite and quickly went to find Yin Zhong. While waiting, Tong Xian, who Tong Bo did not rescue that day, discovered Tong Bo and the others and ran out to recognize them. Although this guy is a bit mentally retarded, his talent is really good. Jiang Li glanced at Tong Xian. In the original work, this guy is a rare gifted person of the Tong clan, and has the talent to practice the Tong clan spells. Judging from Jiang Li's current state, Tongxin is surrounded by spirituality, and his physique and spirit are quite special, of course. Jiang Li just glanced at it and stopped paying attention to childlike innocence. People with such mental problems should not have too much tyrannical power, otherwise problems may easily arise. During this period, Doudou, who felt guilty, tried to escape secretly, but was caught by Yan Qixia and Zhang Sanfeng. Both of them are old people in the world, not novices like Tong Bo. They are simple and kind-hearted people from the Tong family, so there is no doubt that they are Tong Bo's friends. Knowing that Doudou was not from the Tong clan, and that Jiang Li had not allowed him to leave before, he knew that there was something wrong with her. Chapter 62, Magic and Martial Arts. Immortality. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is it interesting for a group of grown men like you to bully a weak woman like me? Doudou stared angrily at Zhang Sanfeng and Yan Qixia who had captured him, and then looked at Jiang Li with pleading eyes. She can't leave. After a while, Master Yin will come and there will be trouble. With Yujin Villa's status in the world, it was discovered that she was the one who came to steal Rui's blood that day, so she would not get any good results. Then let me do it. Next time you run away, if I break your legs, it won't be considered as bullying. Yaoyue walked over with a smile, and in Doudou's panic, she pierced the big tree on the roadside with her finger. At the same time, the iron guard who went to report also found Yin Zhong. Second Master, there are a few people outside asking to see you. They claim to be from the Tong clan. Whoosh! As soon as these words came out, Yin Zhong stood up in shock. The Tong family? Ha! Okay, I haven't found it after searching for so long, and you finally brought it to my door. 500 years, I've been waiting for 500 years. Yin Zhong laughed and walked outside quickly. Sure enough, he is indeed a member of the Tong clan. This outfit, dressed like Ma Daishao, has not changed at all in 500 years. Arriving at the gate of Yujin Villa, the first thing Yin Zhong noticed was the 3 Tong brothers and Yin Xiu. As for Jiang Li, Zhang Sanfeng and other people who were obviously not dressed up as members of the Tong clan, he didn't even look at them. You just want to see me? Yin Zhong showed a kind expression. in order to find a spiritual realm to treat his injuries, the Immortal was actually acting here at this moment. Unfortunately, these were useless in front of Jiang Li. This guy's body is really different. Jiang Li's mind has already quietly penetrated into Yin Zhong's body, analyzing the mystery of the Immortal. Should I call you Tong Yin Zhong, or should I call you Yin Zhong? Jiang Li smiled half-heartedly, but he had no intention of playing riddles with Yin Zhong. Who are you? As soon as Jiang Li said these words, Yin Zhong's expression suddenly changed, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. In an instant, the iron guards beside him were blown away by the terrifying aura. Golden Elixir level warrior. How can martial arts reach such a level? The terrifying aura on Yin Zhong's body caused Zhang Sanfeng's expression to change drastically. The aura on Yin Zhong's body was that of pure martial arts, not a cultivator like them. That's why it's scary. He never thought that the person Jiang Li brought them to would be such a monster. His surname is Tong. The expressions of Yin Xiu, Tong Bo, Tong Zhan and the brothers also changed drastically, because this last name is so unique. Since ancient times, there has only been one branch of Shuyudongshan. If someone is named Tong, they must be of the same clan as them, but how could there be anyone named Tong in the outside world? Of course his surname is Tong. 500 years ago, he was also a member of your Tong clan. He just secretly learned the dragon magic and was expelled from the Tong clan. He also has an identity. He is an immortal who is rare in your Tong clan. I'm right, Mr. Yin. The aura on Yin Zhong's body was nothing to Jiang Li. He still looked calm, of course. Deeper down, his mind continued to analyze Yin Zhong's immortal physique. Immortal Yin Zhong, are you the demon god who forced the Tong family to migrate and hide in Shueyue cave 500 years ago? The hermit cultivator's expression changed drastically, and he was so frightened by Jiang Li's words that he stepped back. Young people like Long Bo don't know what the Immortal is, but he understands what the Immortal is, the combination of magic and martial arts. Immortal. This is the most terrifying undead person in the Tong clan. If you are good, you will become a god. If you are evil, you will become a devil. You are not from the Tong clan. Who are you? Yin Zhong's eyes burst out with a terrifying light, staring at Jiang Li. 500 years. Everyone of his generation should be dead, but the young man in front of him actually revealed his identity in one sentence. What frightened him even more was that when his aura swept over him, the other party didn't react at all. It doesn't matter who I am. If I tell you, you won't recognize me. I came here today just to make a deal with you. Give me the other piece of blood on your hand, Rui, and I will resurrect your dead daughter. Yin Zhong's pupils shrank violently. It's not because Jiang Li wants blood as he wishes, but because Jiang Li wants to resurrect his dead daughter Yin Feng. In fact, he fell into darkness because of the tragic death of his daughter Yin Feng. Although he secretly learned dragon magic, he actually didn't do anything bad. Even though he was expelled by the Tong clan, he still found a mountain forest to live in seclusion with his daughter Yin Feng, living the same life as the Tong clan. It wasn't until his daughter was poisoned to death by eating a venomous snake that he became angry at the injustice of heaven. He wanted to achieve the body of a god and demon, trample the law of heaven under his feet, and resurrect his daughter. Just you. Yin Zhong didn't believe Jiang Li had this ability at all. Even after 500 years, he still didn't know how to resurrect his daughter. He is an immortal, has the most terrifying physique in the world, and is both skilled in magic and martial arts. What he can't do, how can others do it? He. Jiang Li smiled softly and said, it seems that it is still difficult to reason with you, and I have to show you my fist. The undead are not the most powerful. If you can't resurrect your daughter, do you think others can't? As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Li disappeared from Yin Zhong's sight. Yin Zhong's pupils shrank. When he reacted, Jiang Li's palm was already on his chest. With a light press, Yin Zhong's chest exploded and the whole person flew backwards. When he landed, he was almost a skeleton. Husband, why did you kill him? Didn't you ask him for another blood, Rui? That the little cook Huang Rong and others were stunned. Why did Jiang Li suddenly kill people? He can't die. I said before that he is the immortal of the Tong family. Don't say it's just this kind of injury. Even if it's a serious injury, he can't die. Jiang Li shook his head gently. He suddenly attacked, of course, not to kill Yin Zhong. it's just that he used Yin Zhong's words as an excuse to find a reason to attack Yin Zhong, and then take the opportunity to observe the deeper changes of the immortal. Yes, if he is an immortal, there is nothing in the world that can kill him, the hermit said. Second master was killed. Hurry up and inform the owner of the manor. Yin Zhong was beaten to the ground and almost turned into a skeleton. The iron guards of Yujin Villa were in chaos, but they did not dare to attack Jiang Li. Your second master Yin is not dead, Jiang Li reminded the iron guards. Everyone looked carefully and saw that the flesh and blood on second master Yin, who was almost a skeleton, was surging disgustingly and growing rapidly. After a while, Yin Zhong appeared intact and stood up from the ground. Sure enough, he is the immortal of my Tong family. Tong Bo and others took a breath. How can such a person be killed if he can't die from such injuries? The most important thing is that the other party seems to hate the Tong family and almost wiped out the Tong family. Ghost, that the iron guards ran away in fear. Chapter 63 Yin Zhong, this is a terrifying man. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What kind of monster is this? Zhang Sanfeng, Yan Qixia and others couldn't help but gasp when they heard this. This immortal is so terrifying, just like a demon. Such injuries were healed in just a few moments. The spiritual world is so terrifying, that Yao Yu and the other two girls also felt a little scalp numb. Such a person, who also has a grudge against the Tong family, will really make a deal with Jiang Li to save the Tong family. If he can't be killed, will he compromise? In fact, they didn't know that Jiang Li didn't do anything cruel. He just wanted to observe the immortal more deeply, not to kill Yin Zhong. The fact that others couldn't kill Yin Zhong didn't mean that Jiang Li couldn't. If the physical constitution of an immortal in the spiritual world could really achieve immortality, the universe would have been in chaos long ago. Immortality means a relatively certain level of power. According to Jiang Li's estimation, the spiritual world should be able to really kill the immortal. You should know that Ling Jing only hit Yin Zhong once, and the injuries left behind have not recovered even after 500 years. It's just that Ling Jing was reluctant to kill Yin Zhong. In the original work, it was Ling Jing who guided Yin Zhong step by step, and finally Yin Zhong realized the truth, let go of his hatred and returned to the Tong family. The Tong family may not give birth to an immortal in tens of millions of years. As the guardian artifact of the Tong family, how could he bear to kill Yin Zhong? How about it? Is my power qualified to trade with you? If you still think it's not enough, I don't mind continuing to show it. After Yin Zhong was resurrected, he looked at Jiang Li with anger and horror. His skills were killed without any resistance. How could he not be horrified? So what if he can't kill you? If he can't kill you once, killing you thousands of times is definitely more terrifying than death. What made me angry was that I just questioned him, just to see what confidence he had to say that he could revive his daughter who had been dead for 500 years. I didn't expect that the other party was so unethical, so I killed him. The immortal is really amazing, he can't die. Jiang Li is more and more interested in the immortal. While talking, he didn't dare to relax at all, and was still carefully analyzing Yin Zhong's body. The power of that blow was enough to blow up a Yuanying level master. Enough. Hearing that Jiang Li was going to continue to show, Yin Zhong's face changed immediately. This guy really doesn't play by the rules. If you obviously don't agree, I will continue to kill you thousands of times, until you agree. Yin Zhong was full of grievances. In the past 500 years, even if he was killed by the spirit mirror once, he was not as cowardly as today. He didn't dare to fight back even after being beaten to death once. But I want to add another condition. I want the Tong family to use the spirit mirror to help me recover from my injuries. After saying that, Yin Zhong looked at the hermit. Looking at the hermit's dress, he knew that among the 4 Tong family members, the hermit had the highest status. He was the second only to the elders in the Tong family, but he looked over. When they found out that he mentioned the spirit mirror, the hermits, Tong Zhan and others all looked confused. Jiang Li shook his head. Hee. You probably don't know that when you were chasing the Tong family for 500 years, the spirit mirror had already been lost. Now the people of the Tong family don't even know what the spirit mirror is. Yin Zhong originally felt something was wrong. When he heard Jiang Li's words, he seemed to be 3 points shorter out of thin air, and his momentum dropped sharply. How is it possible? The spirit mirror is so important to the Tong family, how could it be lost? He looked like he had lost his soul. Without the spirit mirror, he would not only fail to forge a body of gods and demons, but also be tortured by the injuries left by the spirit mirror endlessly. I can help find the spirit mirror and heal you. But I have to add a condition. Let me study you for 3 days, and you are not allowed to embarrass the Tong family in the future. The condition is this condition. I'm talking to you, don't let me fight you with my fists, that the magical physique of the undead cannot be analyzed clearly by a short period of practice. To analyze, we need to cooperate with various experiments. And the injured Zhong can be said to be not a real complete immortal. Okay. Zhong, who was originally desperate, nodded in agreement when he heard that Jiang Li could find the spirit mirror. As long as his daughter Feng can be resurrected, the grievances between him and the Tong family can naturally be resolved. 500 years have passed, and Zhong is no longer so cruel. In fact, he is not a bad person in the original book. When the old injury recurred, he would rather be bitten by the blood python than absorb human essence to heal the wound. Later, he was able to have a great enlightenment, which also shows that his nature is not bad, but he was stimulated by his daughter's death. In fact, if this kind of thing were to happen to Jiang Li, he would probably be crazier than Zhong. As for research, Zhong knew that it should be curious about his immortal physique. Then you should take Shui Rui with you and come with us. I'm not afraid to tell you that the Tong family has been frozen by Shui Rui, and we have to find the heart of Shui Rui. And your daughter Feng has actually been resurrected by an elder of the Tong family named Tianqing, and is now frozen in Shueiyue cave. What you insist on is actually meaningless. To save your daughter, there is no need to do so many things. Hearing that the Tong family was frozen by Shui Rui, Zhong's face changed slightly. When he heard that his daughter Zhong had actually been resurrected, he was stunned for a moment. My little Fenger has been resurrected. Then he was ecstatic. And then he felt distressed. I'll go get the blood Rui now. He turned anxiously into a gust of wind and rushed into Yujian Villa in an instant. After a while, he returned with the blood Rui and gave it to Jiang Li. Please find the heart of the blood Rui and save my daughter. Trading or something, it's no longer important to him. Although Jiang Li didn't say it, Zhong could guess that Jiang Li should know where the lost heart of the blood Rui is. Miss Doudou, take us to your father's shop. After getting the blood Rui, Jiang Li didn't want to study it at this time. His mind was still analyzing the secrets of the undead in Zhong's body. With a thought, he put the blood Rui into the ring. I don't have a father, I'm an orphan. Doudou's face changed slightly, and he didn't want to expose his father at all. You are the female thief who stole the blood Rui that day. Zhong looked over coldly. Don't scare her. Jiang Li glared at Zhong and continued. Lead the way with peace of mind. We are not going to embarrass your father, but the blood Rui heart is in his shop. Only the blood Rui heart and the 2 blood Rui can unlock the Tong family's ice. In fact, we are not looking for your father, but for your father's shop assistant, Tianqiu. Tianqiu. Zhong's heart moved. Is this his descendant who was stranded outside? The blood Rui heart was lost. Even if Hao's lost brother took it away, he couldn't find it. He looked at Jiang Li in shock. This mysterious young and terrifying master seemed to know everything. How could the people of the Tong family know such a mysterious person? He asked himself that he had lived for 500 years and knew everything about the mysteries of heaven and earth. But today there appeared a person who frightened him. Chapter 64 The Secret of the Immortal Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After walking around for a while, a place called Boguzai came into view. Compared with Zhong, Tianqiu was much easier to deal with. His father was originally one of Zhong's descendants, the younger brother of the current owner of Yujian Villa, but he got lost when he was very young. Later, his father got married and gave birth to him. Before he died, he wanted him to return to Yujian Villa to recognize his relatives, but when Tianqiu came here, he found that a man named Zhong had pretended to be his father and had recognized Yujian Villa. Therefore, Tianqiu launched an investigation and assassination of Zhong. after Jiang Li explained these things and asked Zhong to show his true identity to prove that Zhong was his ancestor, he knew that the blood Rui heart was going to be used to save tens of thousands of people who were of the same lineage as him, and immediately gave the blood Rui heart to Jiang Li without hesitation. The ice of Shueiyue cave is lifted, and there will be basically no accidents. Are you four going to Shueiyue cave together to witness the lifting of the ice, or are you leaving now and traveling on your own? After getting the blood Rui, the Tong family's problems are basically solved. Zhang Sanfeng and Yan Qixia looked at each other, and seeing Huang Rong and Yao Yu beside Jiang Li, they immediately decided to separate from Jiang Li. After all, those who came to the alien world for a mission can only stay for 7 days. From Shueiyue cave to here, thousands of kilometers are uninhabited areas. When they walk from Shueiyue cave to where there are people, it is unknown how long it will take, and it will also waste time. Jiang Li also didn't want to waste time on the road, so he took Zhong, Tong Bo and others directly into the air and flew to Shueiyue cave. As for Huang Rong and Yao Yu, they followed Jiang Li closely, trying to gain more favor in front of him. You can actually fly with so many people. Zhong took a breath. He can fly too, but compared to Jiang Li, it's not flying at all. The terrifying speed made him a little frightened. The mountains and rivers retreated in an instant. What's so surprising? These are just child's play for brother Jiang. Huang Rong chuckled. In fact, this speed is just because Jiang Li doesn't want to waste his mental power. If he uses mental power to hurry up, the speed will at least increase several times. When he arrived at Shueiyue cave, Jiang Li took out the heart of blood Rui and another piece of blood Rui from the ring, and easily solved the ice. He collected all 3 sets, neither returning them to Zhong nor to the Tong family. He resolved the grievances between the two parties, so it was not too much to take some things. Found it. Suddenly Jiang Li smiled. After searching inch by inch with his mental power, he finally found the sleeping sealed spirit realm in a small river. Between the control of the telekinesis, the spirit realm flew over. Is this the spirit realm, the guardian artifact of the Tong family? Long Bo looked at the spirit realm in Jiang Li's hand with some surprise. This thing is like petrified, and it looks like a mirror. It's sealed. Zhong's face darkened. Except for the clan leader, no one else can touch the spiritual realm of the Tong family. That is, when the Tong family was in danger, Longting had the opportunity to touch it. He is not sealed, but sleeping, waiting for the reincarnation of the 500 years. You are the immortal of the Tong family, and it wants to guide you to good. Zhong, you really don't think that with the power of the spiritual realm, it couldn't kill you back then? Jiang Li's playful voice made Zhong's face change. Thinking of the blow 500 years ago, he still felt a little scared. That blow made him die for several years before resurrecting, which was quite terrifying. I will wake you up now, and you will recover Zhong's injuries. Now I have resolved the grievances between him and the Tong family. I have done these things for you. In return, you have to study for 3 days. Buzz. As soon as Jiang Li finished speaking, the spiritual realm in his hand vibrated. In an instant, the gray things on the spirit stone fell off, emitting a dazzling light. Then, it slowly floated up and covered Zhong's head, casting a beam of light. After curing Zhong, the spirit realm fell into Jiang Li's hands as promised, and Jiang Li was given 3 days to study. Next, go find your daughter. Hell Rock Feng has actually been resurrected for many years. When Jiang Li and Zhong arrived here, they saw Feng, who had grown into a big girl. However, because he had been eroded by the fire poison here for many years, his face and body were covered with pus. Jiang Li was a good person to the end, and also helped Feng to dissolve the fire poison. You father and daughter reunite first. I will find you in 3 days. After leaving this sentence to Zhong, Jiang Li left the Tong family. As for Huang Rong and Yao Yu, the two were like dogskin plasters, always sticking to Jiang Li. Wherever Jiang Li went, they went. Fortunately, these two are both peerless beauties, and they are also good foils when visiting the beautiful mountains and rivers. For 3 days, Jiang Li was accompanied by the 2 girls to visit the scenery of the spiritual world. During this period, the 2 girls teased Jiang Li intentionally or unintentionally. Their feelings warmed up a lot. Jiang Li was not so repulsive to them. 3 days later, Jiang Li and the other 2 returned to the Tong family. Again, this time, he studied the spiritual world and gained unimaginable things. The refining method of this thing was beyond his imagination. After all, a magic weapon that gave birth to spiritual consciousness has a little bit of the flavor of immortal heroes. This time, as the people who rescued the Tong family, Jiang Li and his 4 companions received the highest courtesy from the Tong family. Tong Zhong, who has been appointed as the next clan leader, personally brought the 6 elders of the Tong family and Zhong, who had already reconciled, to greet them. And after Tong Bo's proposal, all the books collected by the Tong family since the beginning of the world were released to Jiang Li. Unfortunately, after Zhong's incident 500 years ago, the Tong family lost even the guardian artifact, let alone the collection of books. Many important documents were lost in that disaster. The books now are just written by the survivors based on their memories. This is the spiritual realm of the Tong family, please keep it. Jiang Li spread his hands, and the spiritual realm slowly flew towards Tong Zhong. He had no intention of taking the spiritual realm for himself. He could take the blood ray without any psychological burden, but he was embarrassed to take the spiritual realm. Moreover, with the kindness of the Tong family, if there was really no warning of the guardian spiritual realm, the family might be exterminated one day. The house that the Tong family arranged for Jiang Li was located by a small river, with beautiful mountains and clear water. Zhong is here. He came to study Jiang Li for 3 days as agreed. Jiang Li was naturally not polite. No matter how much he gained in the spiritual realm, it was an external thing, and only strength was the foundation. For him, the most important thing was to analyze the secret of the immortal. Yueya said he missed you. Yueya, that is, Zhong's daughter Feng, the woman in the original book who was powerful in martial arts and exactly the same as Tianxue. Jiang Li didn't expect that the first sentence after Zhong came was this. Okay, I will go to see her when I have time. Jiang Li nodded. Next, Jiang Li continued to analyze Zhong's immortal body in depth. After being cured by the spiritual realm, this guy's body really became different from before. For 3 days, Jiang Li went all out, and even ignored Yao Yu and the other 2 who finally met again, but even after 3 days, he still hadn't figured out the secret of the immortals. Zhong seemed to have discovered this, but he didn't leave and continued to study with Jiang Li. It wasn't until the 4th day that he finally got something and discovered the true secret of the immortals. Chapter 65, The Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was originally agreed to be 3 days, but you let me study for 1 more day. I won't take advantage of you, Jiang Li said, and pointed a finger at Zhong's brow. This is the Vajra glazed skill, which can directly reach the realm of ascension. It's a pity for you to be trapped in a small spiritual world with your physique. Jiang Li couldn't bear to see a genius like Zhong trapped in a mere spiritual world. After figuring out the nature of the immortal, he knew the potential of this physique best. After practicing to this level, Zhong had not fully developed the true potential of this physique, and could only be regarded as a preliminary activation. Thank you for the teaching. Zhong bowed deeply to Jiang Li. The teaching in his mind made him instantly understand the horror of the Vajra glazed skill. This is a skill that can make his physical body shatter the void. After several hours, the deadline for this return was up. Jiang Li took the little cook Huang Rong and Yao Yu to a deserted place, and left the Shueyue cave heaven world under the gaze of Long Bo. After a flash of light, Jiang Li appeared in the bedroom of Jiangnan Pavilion. Old Zhong and Tiandi Wuji Qiankuan Jiefa should be fine. That when it was close to returning, the Wudang 100-year-old Taoist and Tiandi Wuji Qiankuan Jiefa did not return to the Tong family. He opened the chat group to see if the 2 had returned. Tiandi Wuji Qiankuan Jiefa. No. I'm back. Jiang Li is right. Going to other worlds is really rewarding. Wudang 100-year-old Taoist at Long Bo, Yan Qixia and I have returned safely. Long Bo, I'm safe. Jiang Li has also left. Thank you again, Jiang Li and you for saving the lives of tens of thousands of people in the Tong family. If you need it in the future, Long Bo will die. Xiao Li Fei Dao at Tiandi Wuji Qiankuan Jiefa, we don't want to go to other worlds, we just don't have money. Zombie Taoist, tell us quickly if you have encountered any fun things in Long Bo's world. Wudang 100-year-old Taoist, I didn't encounter any fun things. but I encountered a terrifying immortal who has lived for 500 years. I am Spider-Man, damn, he has lived for 500 years, he must be a monster. Zixia Gentleman Sword, what is an immortal? The infinite heaven and earth borrowing method, it means a person who can't be killed no matter what. It is said that even if he is burned to ashes, he can't be killed. I am Spider-Man, this is too scary. Xiao Li Feidao, can't Jiang Li be killed? The infinite heaven and earth borrowing method, I don't know about that. There are too many magical things in the heavens and the worlds. This time I have learned a lot. Jiang Li closed the chat group after seeing this. Jiang Li began to concentrate on sorting out his gains this time. You have perfected the Vajra glazed skill. You have comprehended the spiritual realm and know the way to refine weapons. You have comprehended the art of refining weapons. The first thing Jiang Li digested was what he got from the spiritual realm. Next, he began this most important retreat, turning the things analyzed from Zhong into his capital, in his consciousness, various complex pictures and characters, various complex memory fragments began to emerge. After a while, these chaotic things began to become orderly. At this time, Jiang Li's countless enlightenments quickly emerged: corpse cultivation system, spiritual mind master system, martial arts system. He integrated all the systems he had learned and wanted to combine the knowledge related to the undead. Time came to 2 days later, but Jiang Li knew that this retreat was definitely the longest time he had spent since he started practicing. Finally, a message passed through his heart. You comprehend the constitution of the undead and understand the way of immortality. You seem to have some insights. You combine what you have learned and create the Vajra Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body based on the Vajra Dragon Body. The Vajra Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body has 2 forms. The first form can transform into the Ancestral Dragon Body and soar into the sky. The second form is the Vajra Dragon Body. Of course, the strength is several times stronger than the Vajra Dragon Body. Although it cannot achieve true immortality, the level of the Vajra Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body should be higher than the Yinyang Hunyuan Tai Chi Gong. Once the Ancestral Dragon Body is practiced, although it cannot make him truly immortal, but even 100 masters of the same level cannot kill him together, even if his body is blown up. As long as he still has a trace of spiritual power that has not been wiped out, he can be resurrected in a thought. Even if someone with a stronger cultivation than him does not understand the essence of the indestructible ancestral dragon body, he cannot be killed. Another trump card, like the Corpse Emperor Sutra, the Vajra Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body can also be regarded as a life-saving trick. After the enlightenment, Jiang Li opened the chat group. Vajra Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body, a cultivation technique, worth 5 million points, do you want to upload it? No. Jiang Li did not choose to upload this technique. First, he had no shortage of points, and second, he also had to have a trump card technique. However, Vajra Indestructible Ancestral Dragon Body could not be uploaded, and Jiang Li still had a lot of stock on hand. Group member Swallowing Lord uploaded the technique Return to the Origin Sutra. Those who are interested can go and check it out. Group member Swallowing Lord uploaded the magical power 4 twos to move 1,000 pounds. Those who are interested can go and check it out. Group member Swallowing Lord uploaded the body technique Leaping Body Technique. Those who are interested can go and check it out. Group member Lord of Swallowing has uploaded the exercise Solar Breathing Technique. If you are interested, check it out. After uploading the skills he had learned from Zhang Sanfeng and Xiong Ba in one go, Jiang Li's points gained again. Devour the world. Jiang Li. Jiang Li. Come out quickly. Zhao Ruo's voice came from outside. After uploading the exercises, Jiang Li came out of the underground secret room without having time to look at the chat group. After freshening up, he saw Zhao Ruo with his hands on his hips angrily. Jiang Li, are you planning to lock yourself in an underground secret room for the rest of your life? Zhao Ruo is wearing sportswear, has short hair, and her petite figure makes her petite and angry look somewhat cute. Unfortunately, her eyes are too small, so she is not a beauty after all. I said, I won't attend the banquet. In the 10 days since he arrived at the elite training camp, Jiang Li received many invitations to banquets, but declined them all. The so-called connections are meaningless to him. After all, both warmth and coldness are beneficial. and strength is the last word. Who asked you to attend the party? Zhao Ruo snorted and said, I am reminding you that the day after tomorrow is the departure day of the life and death adventure, remember to prepare in advance. Now everyone is waiting to see your joke. Joke? Jiang Li shook his head. Although he was in the underground secret room every day, he also heard rumors about the training camp. It's nothing more than a combat power amplitude of more than 30, after all, he has not tried to gain record points so far, and his points ranking is still last. The amplitude of his combat power has naturally become a joke. Chapter 66 99 Swords. Can you activate them at the same time? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Li. Yang Hui came to the Jiangnan Pavilion courtyard and shouted, You really gave me a problem. All your weapons and equipment have been dealt with, totaling 57.87 billion. Wow, so many, that when he heard the numbers, Zhao Ruo's eyes suddenly lit up and he smiled and said, Jiang Li, you have to treat your senior brothers and sisters to a nice meal. Later. Teacher Yang, just give me an integer. Jiang Li counted the 24 billion transferred from Dragon Egg Luo Feng, and he could barely afford to buy the entire set of world destruction marksmanship. Integer. No, even the errand fees don't cost as much as 7.8 billion. Yang Hui immediately refused, even though he had worked hard for many days. Moreover, he is a majestic god of war, a special envoy of martial arts schools, a teacher in an elite training camp, and he also bargains with others. After all, Jiang Li's items were all second-hand goods, and even 2 pieces of SS-level equipment would not be worth the price, but the reward of 7.8 billion is indeed too much. Think about it, an ordinary god of war only earns tens of billions a year. Yang Hui deserves it. That. Jiang Li was stunned and asked doubtfully, shouldn't the round number be calculated in hundreds of millions? Zhao Ruo, Oxo. What? Yang Hui suddenly had a dark look on his face. How dare you pay 70 million for running errands? Drop. After completing the transfer, Yang Hui left Jiangnan Pavilion with a depressed look. As soon as he walked out of the door, Yang Hui's communicator rang, and he looked at the phone name displayed. Yang Hui's expression suddenly changed. Inspector Wang. Yang Hui, go and bring Jiang Li to me. Yes. Yang Hui responded repeatedly. After hanging up the phone, Yang Hui turned around and walked back to Jiangnan Pavilion. Teacher Yang. Jiang Li raised his eyes and saw Yang Hui leaving and returning, and he knew in his heart that he had gone too far. Those weapons and combat uniforms are always second-hand goods. Yang Hui must have done a lot to sell them at this price drop. You received a transfer of 100 million Hanxia coins from Jiang Li. Yang Hui couldn't laugh or cry for a while. Teacher Yang, you deserve it. Jiang Li said seriously, while Zhao Ruo on the side held his stomach and suppressed laughter. Jiang Li, thank you. Yang Hui almost said this through gritted teeth. Call. After Yang Hui took a long breath, he solemnly said, Jiang Li, the king's inspector wants to see you. Inspector Wang. Zhao Ruoxian was startled and looked at Jiang Li with widened beautiful eyes. Inspector Wang is in charge of the elite training camp. She has been here for so long and has never seen him a few times, let alone summoned him alone. Good. Jiang Li nodded slightly. Jiang Li followed Yang Hui through the building area of the training camp and came to a quiet villa, where an old man was already waiting. Teacher Yang Hui, the inspector is waiting for you and student Jiang Li inside. The old man smiled and made a gesture of invitation, after entering the villa. It's Xiao Yang. A woman with quite the temperament of a lady waved to Yang Hui and said, Old Wang is in the living room upstairs. Just let the student named Jiang Li go up by himself. Jiang Li, go up yourself. Yang Hui asked, and then went to the living room on the first floor to chat with the lady about household matters. Second floor, the door to the drawing room is open. Jiang Li walked into the living room and saw a lean man sitting cross-legged in front of the coffee table. He looked about 40 years old. At this moment, he closed his eyes, as if knowing that Jiang Li had arrived. He suddenly opened his eyes. With one glance, an invisible force instantly pressed against Jiang Li. Jiang Li has met the inspector. The force came like a strong wind, but Jiang Li was like a big mountain, standing still. Well, you are indeed the invincible god of war. Your mental power has surpassed that of the high god of war. Inspector Wang smiled and praised, then pointed at the coffee table and said, look at this contract carefully. If there is no problem, just sign it. Jiang Li took the contract and his eyes narrowed slightly. It is completely different from the previous warrior contract. This is actually the contract of the Inspector of Extreme Martial Arts. An annual salary of 30 billion. Choose 3 sets of secrets at random. A set of SS combat uniforms and weapons. After Jiang Li read the contract, the reward was quite generous. Where's the request? Jiang Li read the contract and found no requirements. This contract was drawn up by the owner himself. Inspector Wang smiled slightly and said, since there are no requirements, it means there are no other requirements. Of course, for the identity to take effect, one needs to surpass the god of war. Are you willing to sign? I don't think anyone can say no. Jiang Li picked up the pen prepared on the coffee table and signed his name with flying colors. This is not even a contract. The position of an inspector can be said to be a position of power to the outside world, but to Jiang Li, it has no requirements. Surpassing the god of war is not a problem at all for him. Sign this one again, keep one for you, and keep the other for the martial arts school. Inspector Wang handed over an identical contract and said, the funds will be transferred to your warrior account on a yearly basis. You can log into the Extreme House to choose cheats, weapons and combat uniforms. Any more questions? Jiang Li shook his head. After signing the contract, Jiang Li is undoubtedly the core member of the Extreme Martial Arts Gym. After returning to Jiangnan Pavilion, Jiang Li opened his laptop and logged into Extreme Home, only to find that the red email showed 99+. After a brief glance, 99% of them are invitation emails. I didn't expect that the Bolinas family also sent me an invitation email. Jiang Li couldn't help but chuckle when he saw the theme of the Bolinas family, but it's normal to think about it. The collective interests of a big family, personal love, hate, and hatred are worthless when placed in front of family interests. A set of SS-level combat uniforms and an SS-level blood shadow sword. Contract configuration, a set of combat uniforms, and a complete set of weapons. SS-level blood shadow war sword, 99 handles. Jiang Li's eyes lit up and he pressed the plus button directly. Purchase successful. Please verify fingerprints. Deduction successful. Jiang Li looked at the display showing that the deduction was successful, and couldn't help but sigh, you are really rich. To know, SS-level weapons cost 60 billion even at half price. Jiang Li's operation, the weapons alone, 6 trillion. The most expensive inspector in history was born. Extreme Martial Arts Headquarters, seeing the information provided by the person in charge of the Extreme House, Lu He, one of the 5 inspectors, was also confused at the moment. 99 SS-level blood shadow swords. Is this Jiang Li planning to open a weapons shop? Virtual Space Roundtable, the Supreme Meeting, which was originally held only twice a year, was held for the second time this month. And both times, it was all for the same person. Everyone, I solemnly reiterate that this contract was drawn up by the owner himself. I solemnly reiterate that what Jiang Li wants is the SS-level blood shadow war sword. The number is 99. Inspector Lu's tone was not calm, and he even gritted his teeth. He is a spiritual master, so he needs weapons to be more normal. Inspector Wang expressed his opinion. If he can use it. Another Inspector Zhu said, I have no objection. Among the gods of war, the Phantom Karen can only control up to 24 flying knives at the same time. The Black Inspector Vladimir said coldly. Vladimir, I think Karen is not as good as Jiang Li. Since the 3 inspectors have no objections, then give it to him. Give it to him. Elite Training Camp, Jiangnan Pavilion. Since the elite training camp is located near the Extreme Martial Arts Headquarters, Jiang Li's order for weapons and combat uniforms were delivered to him 1 hour after the roundtable meeting ended. Then, a big box. The box is made of mixed gold, 1.6 meters long, 1.4 meters wide, and 1.4 meters high. It is specially equipped with two belt-like devices. It seems to be convenient for carrying out the door. Chapter 67, Regaining the Origin of the World, Dominating Live Broadcasting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Li, what's in this box? Seeing the transfer personnel from the Extreme Martial Arts Hall, Zhao Ruo jumped down from the second floor and asked with curiosity on his face. Blood Shadow Battle Sword. Jiang Li picked up the Blood Shadow Saber and waved it briefly. Both the weight and texture are 100 times stronger than the A7 version. No wonder you only gave Teacher Yang 70 million as an errand fee. It turned out to be to buy the SS-level Blood Shadow Saber. Zhao Ruo had sharp eyes and recognized at a glance that the Blood Shadow War sword in Jiang Li's hand was SS level. After all, the SS level easily costs 60 billion, and even a flying knife with the least materials costs more than 10 billion. A god of war with no background really can't afford such a weapon. 170 million, Jiang Li corrected himself. Okay, 170 million. Zhao Ruo made a face at Jiang Li, then reached for the box and asked curiously, is your Blood Shadow War sword also SS? Mom. This. The box was opened, and neat rows of SS-level Blood Shadow swords were lying there without any luxury or dazzling, but, all kidding aside, even if Zhao Ruo saw Hong Lai in Jiangnan Pavilion, he would not be able to call her mother. It's like an ordinary person opening a box of gold bars. The feeling is sour and refreshing. The end, Jiang Li added nonchalantly. Yes, it's all Zhao Ruo. That night, Jiang Li was video chatting with Ling Ling. At this time, Ling Ling suddenly put on a suit of armor, completely showing off her perfect figure, with a heroic spirit between her brows. It is completely different from the previous Xia Jiabiyu. Seeing this look made Jiang Li's heart flutter. Unfortunately, he is currently in training camp and cannot get out at all. Suddenly, Jiang Li felt a sudden surge of energy and blood. Something moved in his heart. The origin of the world has arrived again. Jiang Li took a breath of air. Compared to the first time when Heaven's law descended, his strength was more than 10 times stronger, but under this cosmic will, his resistance became weaker. The higher your cultivation level, the more you can truly feel the terror of the will of the universe. Under the terrifying cosmic will, Jiang Li felt like an ant. That kind of indifferent will seem to assimilate him. I wonder who has become successful in cultivation. Jiang Li thought so in his heart. The next moment, he felt his entire conscious world shaking. A burst of energy surged out of the void and suddenly poured into his whole body. Immediately afterwards, a wisp of power as thick as a mountain appeared silently in his dantian. You spread the Vajra glaze technique and receive gifts from the will of the universe. You have obtained a ray of the origin of the world. You have received a baptism of heaven. The origin of the world. In an instant, Jiang Li could not think too much and used all his strength to run the Yin-Yang Hunyuan Tai Chi Kung Fu to absorb this reward. The energy and blood all over his body suddenly became more surging, and his bones and flesh made a huge roaring sound. In his dantian, a wisp of the origin of the world exploded at this moment, and was refined into his body by the Yin-Yang Hunyuan Tai Chi Kung Fu. The entire baptism effect was much better than the last time. At the same time, Jiang Li was moved in his heart, and part of his mind was devoted to analyzing the baptism process of heavenly Tao. We have analyzed some mysteries again, but compared with the will of heaven, they are still far behind. After more than 10 breaths, this baptism of heaven was over. The indifferent will of the universe also disappeared, and Jiang Li felt a lot more relaxed all over. It would be nice if the process was longer. Jiang Li sighed. The whole baptismal process was too short. Coupled with the terrifying interference of the will of the universe, his heaven-defying understanding cannot be fully utilized. The strength has at least doubled. Jiang Li took a moment to figure out what he had gained this time. In fact, for things like the baptism of heaven, strength improvement is actually the most secondary. The real benefit is the physical improvement after the body is baptized. There is also an improvement in understanding. You must know that even Jiang Li's understanding can be slightly improved by the baptism of heaven. Although this improvement is weak, it cannot be ignored after repeated accumulation. By integrating this insight into the Yin-Yang Hunyuan Wuji Kung Fu, the level of this technique should be raised to another level. But don't rush now. let's first figure out how this baptism of heaven came about. Jiang Li hurriedly opened the chat group, 100-year-old Wudang Taoist, he. During this trip to the spiritual world, the Taoist finally understood the Vajra dragon divine body and luckily broke through to the Golden Core realm. Zixia Junzijian, congratulations to Master Zhong for achieving the Golden Elixir path. I am Spider-Man, Zhong Jinren is amazing. After Long Bow, there is another Golden Elixir master in the group. Borrowing method from the infinite world of heaven and earth, I am also out of seclusion. I don't want you, Lao Zhang, to enter the Golden Elixir stage before me. Zombie Taoist priest, damn it, the group is really happy today. Shaoli Feidao, congratulations. Yan Qixia also appeared. He actually broke through at this time and became a master of the Golden Elixir. At this time, everyone in the group was not calm anymore. Yan Qixia and Zhang Sanfeng both went to Longbow's world and broke through the Golden Elixir stage when they came back. It doesn't matter if this has nothing to do with their travels to other worlds. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, I traveled to the spiritual world with Mr. Jiang Li, and I also gained some insights when I saw the boss taking action. Yao Yu, I'm about the same, I've already noticed a hint of a breakthrough. Shaoli Feidao, I'm so envious. I will definitely go to another world next time. It seems that everyone has gained a good harvest this time. Jiang Li nodded secretly, just when he was about to log off and prepare for his 2-day trip to mainland Australia. A system notification sound suddenly came from the chat group, Byte. Group friend, Xiongba, started the live broadcast. Xiongba started a live broadcast. Zombie Taoist priest, let me go, Xiongba is live broadcasting, is he going to kill Nie Feng and Bujinyan? Zixia Junzijian, let's go and have a look. Long Bow, what is live broadcast? Shaoli Feidao, click in and you will know. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, fight against fate. Interesting. Jiang Li also curiously clicked into Xiongba's live broadcast room. In an instant, a domineering and burly figure appeared in front of him. At the same time, Xiongba's eyes seemed to penetrate all the worlds, and he looked at everyone in the chat group. He was full of arrogance and spoke slowly. Jiang Li, you and Ni Bodhisattva both said that my Xiongba was destined to fail at the hands of Nie Funbu Jinyan. But I, Xiongba, don't believe it. I taught Nie Funbu Jinyan all his martial arts. I also have a chat group, and I learned the Guiyuan Sutra and the Tai Chi Sword of Eternal Life. I have so many trump cards, how can the two of them defeat me? Today I will live broadcast to show you how I killed these two rebels. That the more he spoke, Xiongba's voice became louder and louder, and his cold eyes were fixed on the screen, as if he was looking at Jiang Li. Chapter 68 The Beginning of Fate, A Sword of Destruction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Peach Blossom Island Little Chef, so brave, you actually provoke brother Jiang Li. Zombie Taoist priest, if you can kill Nie Funbu Jinyan, I will chop off my head and let you kick it as a ball. Borrowing from the infinite universe, he really turned a deaf ear to what Mr. Jiang Li said. Xiongba naturally saw the barrage in the live broadcast room. He said coldly again, you will know the truth soon. That the next moment, the hero in the live broadcast room rose into the air and walked through the air. A few breaths later, two figures appeared in Xiongba's sight. This is a boy and a girl. The man among them had fiery red messy hair, and his temperament looked somewhat elegant. The other woman looked petite and delicate, with a delicate face. The two of them held identical long swords in their hands. It's Nie Feng and Mingyue. By looking at their faces, Jiang Li instantly determined their identities. Xiongba said he would kill Nie Feng and Bujinyan, but in fact Nie Feng and Bujinyan are not together at this moment. Xiongba can't kill Nie Feng at all. Jiang Li shook his head secretly. The hero in the live broadcast suddenly turned into gold and used the indestructible power of the Vajra. While he was still in mid-air, he hit Nie Feng with a cloud-dispelling palm. Roar! The vicious palm force made a terrifying sonic boom sound, shattering the surrounding vegetation. With such power, to be honest, if Jiang Li hadn't known the plot direction, he would have thought Nie Feng was dead. Who? That at this time, Nie Fong had already discovered Xiong Ba's attack. Without thinking, the palm force he struck at Xiong Ba was a sword in the air. At the same time, Mingyue beside him also took action. But there was a reason why Xiong Ba was confident that he could kill Nie Fong and Bu Jingyun. After getting the opportunity to join the chat group, his skills improved a lot compared to the original work. Even if Nie Fong and Mingyue attack together, they will still be vulnerable to Xiong Ba's hands. The sword energy of the two men collided with Xiong Ba's palm power, and they were easily shattered. What a terrifying master! Nie Feng's expression changed drastically, and then he felt shaken all over, and blood flew out from his mouth. Jiang Li, Ni Bodhisattva, you are all wrong. No one can save Nie Fong today. One blow severely injured Nie Fong, and Xiong Ba let out a wanton and wild laugh. He didn't do it randomly. Choosing this wilderness is to eliminate all unexpected factors. Puff! Nie Feng's whole body was stained red with blood, and he stood up with difficulty supported by the Wushuang sword in his hand. Beside him, Mingyue's injury was more serious than him. I can only stand up with Nie Feng's help. Master, why do you want to kill me? After Xiong Ba's voice appeared, Nie Fong was already sure that this golden man was his master Xiong Ba. He had no idea why Xiong Ba would attack him secretly and act so ruthlessly. If he and Mingyue hadn't reacted quickly, they would still be holding the world-famous divine weapon Unparalleled Sword, and they would both be dead at this moment. Because I want to change my destiny against heaven and kill you and Bu Jingyun, Xiong Ba shouted loudly, his face full of murderous intent. Bu Jingyun and Nie Fong have long become his inner demons. Mingyue, leave quickly, Nie Fong shouted anxiously, because while Xiong Ba was speaking, he did not stop. He jumped up and continued to kill Nie Fong and Mingyue. When he raised his hand, he saw the terrifyingly powerful Fengshen legs again. If I don't leave, we will die together. Mingyue did not retreat, but stood firmly with Nie Fong. With a beauty like this, Nie Fong will live his life in vain. Nie Fong was stunned, smiled happily, and subconsciously reached out to hold Mingyue's hand. He has given up resistance. The skill shown by Xiong Ba is earth-shattering. He felt that even if Wulin Xinhua Wuming came, he might not be a dominant opponent. The next moment, Nie Fong felt the Wushuang sword in his hand beating. At the same time, he felt a sword intent that could destroy heaven and earth emanating from the Wushuang sword. The sword technique of falling love. Nie Feng's heart moved, remembering the legend about the Wushuang sword that Mingyue told him. Only two people who love each other until death can understand the sword art of alluring love. In an instant, Nie Fong and Mingyue connected with each other. They looked at each other and immediately swung the unparalleled sword in their hands to slash at Xiong Ba. Boom! It was as if the world was created and the void was shattered. The terrifying sword intention cracked a ravine in the void and fell towards Xiong Ba's head. What the hell? In midair, Xiong Ba showed a horrified expression. The sword intent of the alluring love sword technique made his liver and gallbladder burst. His true energy blasted into the void, and his whole body hurriedly changed direction in midair. Even so, the terrifying sword intent still struck his body. Puff! The blood from Xiong Ba's mouth spurted out as if he didn't need money. The indestructible body was shattered and cracked everywhere in an instant, but in an instant, it was like he was fished out of bloody water, and the transformation of the Vajra indestructible magic was restored to its original state. You know, if he escaped early, he would only be affected by the aftermath. Escape? Domineering and terrifying. Looking back, the ground where the sword intent hit had disappeared. A ravine hundreds of meters across appeared prominently on the ground. If it weren't for his recent surge in power and his cultivation of the Vajra indestructible divine art, he would have died. Even so, he was seriously injured and dying, with most of his meridians broken and even cracks in his dantian. At this moment, Xiong Ba had completely forgotten about killing Nie Fong to change his fate. The power of love in a fallen city had already scared him out of his wits. What's more, he no longer had the strength to fight. Zombie Taoist priest, oh my god, what a terrible swordsmanship. The infinite heaven and earth borrowing method. In Xiong Ba's world, there is actually such a martial art. It feels like even a Jindan master would be wiped out with one blow. The 100-year-old Taoist of Wudong, he really couldn't kill Nie Fong. I thought Nie Fong was dead before, but I didn't expect the sword in his hand to suddenly become powerful. Long bow, I feel like even if I turn into a dragon, I'll be killed by a sword. It's too scary. Zixia gentleman sword, it's a pity that Xiongba didn't die, he was just half crippled. The power of the alluring love sword technique also shocked everyone in the group. They watched the live broadcast the whole time, and they saw the power of the alluring love sword technique more clearly than Xiongba. The frightened Xiongba only held his breath for a moment, and did not find the real horror of the alluring love sword technique at all. The terrifying power that shattered the void was simply not something that the flesh and blood could contend with. If I have the opportunity to go to the Fengyun world, I must get this alluring love sword technique. Jiang Li showed a moving look. Alluring love. In Fengyun, it is a terrifying martial art that is known as eternal and invincible. What is the 10,000 swords returning to the origin? Compared with the alluring love, the sword 23 can be said to be a level lower. In Fengyun, the alluring love can be called a bug-like existence. Except for Mahamudra, there is no other martial art that can compete with it. In the picture, Nia Feng did not chase Xiongba. After severely injuring Xiongba, Mingyue beside him fell down helplessly and died. In fact, Mingyue, who was relatively weak, had her internal organs shattered by Xiongba's palm strike. She could no longer hold on after trying to repel Xiongba. Nia Feng roared in grief and anger, and he didn't care about Xiongba anymore. Mingyue. No. Chapter 69, Life and Death Adventure, Let's Go. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Puff. Xiongba fled in panic. There was still uncontrollable panic on his face. After a while, a cave appeared in front of Xiongba. Feeling that his injuries were almost unbearable, he hurriedly got into the cave. Entering the cave, his injuries completely exploded. Blood spurted out of Xiongba's mouth again, and then he fell down. Jiang Li, the so-called changing one's fate against the will of heaven may sometimes be the beginning of one's destiny. Originally, Nia Feng regarded you as his mentor and always respected you very much. Now in order to change his life, you killed his most beloved woman. Now, Nia Feng and you are really fighting to the death. The gears of fate have begun to turn. Nia Feng and Bujingyun will kill you sooner or later. In the cave, Xiongba originally wanted to hold on for a while and use his energy to heal his injuries, but when I saw Jiang Li's words in the live broadcast room, I was immediately filled with anger, my vision went dark, and I fainted. He never imagined that attacking Nia Feng and Bujingyun would actually be the beginning of their defeat. That unparalleled sword, like a magic weapon, suddenly burst out with sword intent that destroyed the world. The result of Xiong domination did not surprise anyone. On the other hand, everyone was inexplicably shocked by the power of alluring love. Wudang centenarian veteran. I suspect I am in a fake martial arts world. Borrowing from the world of heaven and earth, my world of monsters and monsters feels a little inferior to the world of martial arts. Zixia Junzijian. No wonder Xiongba's power can lead to defeat. Their world is so terrifying. Shaoli Feidao, indeed, this swordsmanship is too terrifying. Xiongba was unconscious and the live broadcast was interrupted. Jiang Li didn't care about Xiongba's life or death. What he regrets most is the sword technique of falling love. If you could get this sword technique and learn a little more about it, how terrifying would the new sword technique you get be? Pity. No matter how much Jiang Li longed for it, there was nothing he could do about it. After all, it was another world. The next day, the students in the elite training camp are all ready to go, including Jiang Li and the other 3 from Jiangnan Pavilion. Early in the morning, 183 students gathered on the lawn in front of the Zhong building. All the students were fully armed, carrying backpacks and their own weapons, chatting in small groups, because today was the departure day of the life and death adventure. But, before setting off, everyone was waiting for someone. I never expected that the world's strongest man would actually come here. I've never met the head librarian before. I've been coming to the elite training camp for 3 years, and I've only seen him once. Senior brother Shi Jiang, have you met the head of the museum? What is he really like? Zhao Ruo turned into a little fangirl at this time and asked Shi Jiang curiously. How do you say that? That when Shi Jiang mentioned Hong, a look of reverence immediately appeared in his eyes. He is like a god. God? Zhao Ruo was stunned for a moment, as Hong's fantasy seemed to appear in front of his eyes. Junior sister, you should focus more on the upcoming life and death adventure. Shi Jiang shook his head slightly and reminded, "We are going to the Australian continent this year. After the Great Nirvana, the entire Australian continent will be a world of monsters. It is more dangerous than the African Eastern Sahara and the American Amazon, that before the Great Nirvana, the Australian continent had fewer people and more animals. After the Great Nirvana era, the entire Australian continent directly became a monster paradise. After decades of reproduction and evolution, the number of monsters there has become terrifying, making it one of the 3 most dangerous places in the world, along with the East Sahara in Africa and the Amazon in the Americas. The collective life and death adventure of the elite training camp is to travel to these 3 dangerous places. This time, the finalized address is mainland Australia. By the way, Jiang Li." Shi Jiang looked at Jiang Li curiously and said, "I wanted to ask you this morning. Everyone carries backpacks to store their loot. Why do you need to carry a box? Where is his box?" Upon hearing this, Zhao Ruo immediately came back to his senses, his eyes flashing with $. "He is carrying a mountain of gold, worth 6 trillion. "What do you mean?" Shi Jiang was confused when he heard this. Boom. At this time, a roaring sonic boom sounded in the sky, and when everyone looked up, a red stream of light streaked across the sky, coming from a distance with a long tail flame. Between the breaths, a vague shadow condensed, and it turned out to be a red triangular fighter plane. "The owner is here. Quick, everyone get up," the teachers urged, and all the students and teachers on the lawn stood up straight. The scene was spectacular. The fighter plane landed. Wow. The hatch opens, a yellow man and a black man simultaneously stepped out of the cabin door and then walked down into the void, slowly walking onto the grass. This scene made many students widen their eyes. Everyone thought that these 2 must be 2 of the 5 inspectors of the extreme martial arts school, existences that surpassed the gods of war. Only, as soon as the 2 appeared, they looked at one of the students almost at the same time, and the corners of the yellow man's mouth even twitched slightly. All the students and teachers glanced out of the corner of their eyes. The 2 inspectors were staring at Jiang Li. And that look? Seem. With a little resentment. They just can't allow them to think too much. A man in black trousers, a black coat, and short black hair stepped out. Almost all the students held their breath and looked at this godlike man. Their eyes were filled with intense burning and reverence, and the next moment, Hong took a step forward and arrived at the side of a student as if teleporting. Everyone turned their heads and found that the black-haired man, Hong, was staring at Jiang Li. To be precise, he was staring at the box behind Jiang Li. Immediately, a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. "I'm curious. Can you really control 99 SS-level blood shadow swords?" Hearing this, Jiang Li was startled, and his mouth twitched slightly, and all the students in the entire training camp were dumbfounded. SS-level blood shadow sword. And 99. Are you talking about Jiang Li's box? Oh my god. This guy actually went on an adventure with 99 swords on his back. Is he crazy? 0.6 trillion. What monster is he going to fight? Just fight Jiang Li. Super monster. Don't let me down. The black-haired man Hong was smiling, and seemed to be full of expectations for Jiang Li. Then, his eyes swept over the other students, and his voice became cold. "You are all the most elite young talents in the world. Your goal is not to become a god of war, but to become an existence beyond the god of war. I hope that someone among you can reach this step. I hope you, don't let me down." His words seemed to have infinite magic, directly penetrating into the hearts of every student. Under this invisible guidance, one by one clenched their fists, and their blood began to surge. Then, without any pause, Hong stepped into the prehistoric intelligent fighter and left. When Hong disappeared from everyone's sight, all the students and the god of war teacher were boiling. Too strong, the headmaster is too strong. Just like a god, at that moment, I felt that the headmaster was the master of the whole world. That's right. Oh my god, Dixishong, Ga, Dixiska. This is the real invincible strong man. All the students used their own languages to communicate excitedly with their compatriots. Chapter 70 Babata, he is coming, he is coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No wonder Jiang Li didn't attend the banquet. He's too damn rich, right? SS level weapons, 99. Oh my god, how much does this cost? A big dog owner, definitely a big dog owner. Isn't Jiang Li's family a small family? Instead, it's a big hidden family in Hanxia Kingdom. I suspect that the Blood Shadow series weapons we use are from his family. After letting go of Guogua, many students here marveled at Jiang Li. Not to mention the god of war, even those who surpass the god of war probably have a net worth of 6 trillion. At 9 a.m. that day, a passenger plane carrying nearly 200 people departed from the base city of Hongning and flew directly to the Australian mainland. This passenger plane is divided into 3 floors, upper, middle and lower, with plenty of space. Jiang Li and Zhao Ruoshijiang were in the middle cabin together. Everyone has finished lunch, let's start getting ready. A yellow god of war teacher pointed to the video in the cabin and said, today's Australian continent can be called the area with the most shockingly dense number of monsters on the world's land. Because the Australian continent is isolated from other land masses in the world, the monsters here are different from the monsters in other continents are different. There are many types and the density of monsters is one thing. Secondly, because of the large number, there are also many king-level monsters. If you encounter main-level monsters now, you are almost certain to die. Remember, don't approach areas with a high concentration of monsters, especially areas with a large number of lord monsters. All the students listened carefully. Although they were geniuses, the strongest one was the god of war. The god of war faced a king-level monster and almost escaped death. Of course, most king-level monsters won't bother to pay attention to you unless you seek your own death. So, the biggest threats to you are the beast herds and lord-level monsters. The yellow teacher pointed at the video screen and tirelessly explained the situation across the Australian continent. Many students are watching carefully. Some first-year newcomers became more and more frightened as they watched. Jiang Li, senior brother Shi Jiang. Zhao Ruo, who was the weakest, glanced at Jiang Li who was calm and Shi Jiang who was full of fighting spirit and asked in a low voice, let's form a team together when we arrive in Australia. Hear the words, Shi Jiang frowned slightly and hesitated for a moment. His strength is much stronger than Zhao Ruo. This time on the Australian mainland is definitely an excellent training opportunity for him. If he takes Zhao Ruo with him, he will obviously be affected. Then he looked at Jiang Li and said, what does Jiang Li think? Based on the current judgment of the elite training camp alone, Shi Jiang's trial tower level is a little higher than Jiang Li's, but he knew very well that in terms of strength, an ordinary god of war was not on the same level as a spiritual master. Okay. Jiang Li smiled, I don't know how to dissect a corpse anyway. You don't know how to do that? Are you too lazy to dig out materials? Zhao Ruo glanced at Jiang Li's box and couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Okay, then we, Jiangnan Pavilion, will explore one of the 3 most dangerous places in the world together. Hearing Jiang Li's agreement, Shi Jiang immediately became excited. Suddenly, the entire cabin shook violently, and some students were caught off guard and thrown out of their seats. What's going on? Zhao Ruo exclaimed. Many students also looked shocked. Dear students, a loud voice came from the cabin broadcast. Our passenger plane has flown into the Australian mainland, but it is still 20 minutes away from its destination. There are a huge number of monsters in Australia, including bird monsters. The passenger plane was attacked by a bird monster just now. There was an uproar in the cabin. They are all low-level bird monsters. Shi Jiang was experienced and explained with a smile, particularly powerful monsters don't dare to get close to flying passenger planes. A passenger plane like ours equipped with an onboard laser cannon is enough to kill king-level monsters instantly. Soon, the plane landed, the door opened, and everyone quickly walked out of the passenger plane. This is a vast wilderness area covered in green, with extremely lush vegetation that resembles a primeval forest. There are no urban buildings, it's desolate. It's troublesome to rest at night now. Let's form a team and work together. Okay, help each other and come back alive. Novsky, what about you? After judging the situation, many students chose to form a group for the trial. All students, please remember to use your communicator to record the coordinates here. It is now January 31st, 2057. Your mission is to live in the Australian mainland for 15 days. Our passenger flight will pick up all the students back to Hongning Bay City here on February 15, 2057. After a God of War teacher finished what Jiang Li said, he repeated it in English. Now, your life and death adventure officially begins. Soon, all the God of War teachers quickly returned to the passenger plane, and as the passenger plane slowly took off, it left the Australian continent. There were only 183 students left in the wilderness. River, a voice sounded. I saw a white girl with long brown hair strolling up to Jiang Li and the others, and asked in fluent Mandarin, "You are the invincible God of War. We want to form a team with you and spend 15 days together on the Australian mainland." As he spoke, the white girl pointed to another black girl behind her. Janet, Zhao Ruo raised his eyebrows. The three of us have already formed a team. N0 no, I'm not asking you, I'm asking Jiang. Janet completely ignored Zhao Ruo, her beautiful eyes fixed on Jiang Li's face. Jiang, both of us are better than her. You, Zhao Ruo's face was immediately full of anger, but what Janet said was also true. Although everyone's evaluation level was a high-level warrior, Zhao Ruo's real strength was only a primary war god, and Janet and the Black Rebecca, both ranked far higher than Zhao Ruo in points, and had the strength of a medium-level war god. No. Jiang Li smiled harmlessly and refused. Wah. Janet seemed very puzzled, and her voice was much higher. Humph, he likes to kill war gods to make money. Zhao Ruo on the side hummed and said, I'm afraid he will accidentally kill you all. Otherwise, where do you think he got this box of weapons? When Jiang Li stepped into the Australian continent, he was far away from the ground for unknown kilometers. In a gorgeous metal hall, a child in a black robe was floating in the air, dancing and humming. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming. If someone was here at this moment, they would be able to see at a glance that this child in a black robe was not real, but more like a spirit condensed in the virtual world. On the other side, Jiang Li looked at Zhao Ruo, who looked innocent, with a frown on his face. How do I know they will believe it? Zhao Ruo spread his hands, feeling a little aggrieved. After hearing Zhao Ruo's brainless excuse, many students in the elite training camp actually showed awe and sudden realization, and then quickly left the landing point in groups of 2 or 3, as if they were afraid that they would be killed by Jiang Li. Among the students, only Jiang Li has killed the god of war, so it's normal for them to worry. Shi Jiang smiled and said, let's go too. Killing and robbing treasures often happen in the martial arts circle. Although the elite training camp ordered that students were prohibited from killing each other, now they are in the uninhabited Australian continent. If they kill and blame the monster, there will be no evidence.